welcome back. I want to show you guys the most basic Linux commands in this video. So this is to go over the most basic commands. If you have no experience with Linux, you want to get familiar with these commands right away. Um, so for starters, we're going to start with the ls command. And this basically means to list the contents of the directory that you are in. If you do pwd, print working directory, it'll tell you what directory you are in. So if I change directories or cd to this directory, I am now in the etc directory. So that was kind of fast, but ls will list the contents of the directory you're in. pwd will tell you where you are. cd will change the directory. And pwd again will print the directory that you're in. So after we changed it, we are now in the etc directory. If you want to look up to see what a command actually does, there are built-in manual pages. So you can type man and then the command. And it's going to define it for you, tell you exactly what it does, and then give you a description as well as some options. So you could use these as additional options. And if you keep scrolling, there's probably even more, but there's not a lot to say about PWD, but there's different options you can use, and they list them right here. Gives you the option, and then they list the option. This is the basic setup for a man page. And you can do this with any command. And somebody may correct me, but I'm pretty sure it's any command. You can use the man command against it to find out what it does. Another important thing, or another important command, would be the clear command, right? You want to clear the screen, you type clear. If you want to see any of the commands that you've ran for the day, or I don't know how long it actually is stored or how many commands it saves. I'm sure there's a setting somewhere. If you type history, it's going to give you all the commands that you've ran, which is helpful. Another thing you can do is you can hit the up arrow and it'll go through each command that you've went through. So that's another way to do that. And again with clear. And again with pwd, just to see where we're at. We are in the etc directory. And ls will list everything. So those are the most basic commands that you need to know. If you wanted to add a user to the system, you would do useradd and just type in a username. As you can see, we're getting a permission denied error. The reason you're getting this is because you're logged in, or I am logged in as cloud user instead of as root, and root in Linux is synonymous with administrator in Windows. It's not like identical, but same concept. So I need to switch over to my root account, or better known as an administrator account in Windows. And I do that by typing sudo su, and then it's going to ask me for a password, and I switched over to root. So that's how you switch over to root, and you have to be root in order to add a user. You could switch over to root, or you could, if you go back, say I'm cloud user, I could actually just do sudo useradd and then the user ID. So I could switch over to root and add the user, or I can type sudo in front of the command and add the user. All right. So if I type ID and then the user ID, it's going to tell me my user ID number, the group ID, and then what groups I'm a part of, which you can see I'm really not a part of any groups, just this default group. And every user on the system is given a unique user ID. And usually when you set it up, this looks pretty similar. You're either given the same group ID as your user ID, or incremented by one, but really default permissions. So if we want to add this user to a group, let's go ahead and look. What groups do we get to choose from? And that's under the etc directory, which we're already under there. So could just do actually, let's I always get this a little backwards. There we go. It's just group. It's not groups. These are the groups that you could add that user to, right? So let's say usually there'll be like an Apache administrator group or something like that. It'll give you rights to do something, um, to configure something or do something extra than what you're given as a default user. So you'd add them to an access control group. So let's just say we want to add that user to Apache, I guess. I thought there was a mail group. Let's just add that user to the Apache group. The way we would do that is usermod and then this command right here. So because that's a hyphen and then a capital G, Apache, and then the username. Gotta type that sudo in front of it. All right, so usermod, and again, if you wanted to look up exactly what that does, you could just do that and then look at the options and figure it out if you can't remember it off the top of your head. But we added the user to Apache. Now if we do ID in the user, it's going to show you now that we are in the Apache group. So we've added a user to a group, we created a user, and then we added them to a group to give them extra permissions to do something. So that's a very practical situation, very useful. What's another thing that is important? If you want to see the top running processes, you can just type top. It's going to give you a ton of info, but it's going to tell you right here the CPU, the memory utilization, and stuff like that. Get me out. Quit. Might need to know how to get out of here. All right, I hit H, and then we're going to hit Q. Get me out. Quit. All right, so it was Q to get out of there. So top command will give you the processes. If you do PS, I can't remember. I can't. That stands for process. Let's look that up real quick because that's killing me. What the hell does it stand for? Process status. So this is going to tell you the process status. And let's just do man and PS just to see our options. Because it's going to give us a lot of stuff, I'm sure. Sometimes it's overwhelming. Print a process tree. Let's just grab this and just for an example, right? Boom. Guess this is supposed to be a tree. But something that I use a lot is PS, and then I might want to look up something specific. So I do -EF, which stands for, it basically stands for all options. So I had to look this up just to see if I can give you guys more specific information, but typically I just use the PS-EF, and I might want to grep for a certain process. That's what I typically do. But under this man page, just to tell you exactly what -E does, it gives you all processes. And then down here somewhere, it'll tell you F does a full listing. So really just saying, give me as much as you have, I guess. And then we're going to grep, which is, I just remember grab, SSH. So grep is a way to kind of grab something. And this will tell you what's going on with that process. So we went over PS, which is process status, -EF shows everything. This pipeline means, hey, push this over to this command. So that's what this is. It's a pipe symbol. And then grep for the process SSH. You could also, just to show you something else with grep, if I could actually, let's create a file, matter of fact, and we'll do touch file. Again, to create a file, for some reason we have to be root. probably, did I call it text? I don't know. Not sure what I just did there, but let's just type a bunch of crap in here. Crap, 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 bird crap. All right. Where is that dang command? Let's see. It's right there, so I don't know why it's giving me trouble using Vim. Let's do Nano. I'm using this cloud service. I don't know. It's just kind of weird. It's right there. Why are you saying it's not found? Nano is usually built in all the time. It says it's only read only, and I don't get why. Let's just switch over to root. Now let's do it. Okay. Now we have that file. Cat it out like we talked about earlier. It's going to tell us what's in there. And what you can actually do with grep is you can use that pipe symbol and grab for poo. And it's going to tell you it's in there twice, right? So that's just like an example of using grep and cat together. Let's see, what else? If you type free and -h for human readable, tell you how much space is available. So that's important. If I want to switch user to TLK5ZB, I can do that. If I want to switch back to root, I can do sudo su, and it's going to hopefully switch me back over to root. Why does it hate me? Guys, I don't know why it's saying my root password's bad. That's weird. And honestly, I don't I can't even see my keyboard that well because it's getting late. So, guys, I hope this helped you out. Get you started with some basic commands. Off the top of my head, those are some really important commands that you should know and get familiar with right away. And I'm sure there's plenty more, but those are the ones that came to mind. All right, guys, until next video, I will catch you later.